first preview. Oregon will travel to Utah at Rice Eccles. Utah plus 6.5. Both teams with one loss in the Pac-12. Utah now without Cam Rising, as we stated completely, that he will not play this year. This is an interesting game for a multitude of reasons. The Pac-12 has run through Utah the last couple of years. It's a tough place to play. This is the third, I'd say, really tough road game for the Ducks this season. They're 1-1 in those. Schaefer, you have Utah. Reese, you have Oregon. This is 2:30 on Fox. Why should we turn the TV on? Let's start with the away team. Let's start with the away team here. Break that down for us.
All right. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year, hardest place playing college football. You're going into Rice Eccles, man. The lights go out there. Weird stuff happens. But this game, it's going to be one in the trenches. If you're looking at just at the stats, Oregon's averaging 225 yards on the ground, and that Utah defense only gives up 78 a game. So who's going to dominate there? Who's going to establish what they want to do? So they got to get Bucky Irving going, and they can't let that Utah defense dictate what they want to do. Bo's going to have to be the guy. He's not going to shy away from that. If you saw the stat, he's played in 56 games, which is ridiculous, but good for that guy. He's living out his college life. So far this year, he's got 2,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, no interceptions, I should add, by the way. That's pretty good for your starting quarterback if you want to try to go into Rice Eccles and win. And if the Utah defense is solid and they're not giving up the run, this Oregon offense is very balanced. They have 21 touchdowns in the air and 21 through the ground, so they can go to whatever they want. Not too worried about that. If one isn't going, they can get the other one going just fine. And then defensively for Oregon, I really don't think the Utah offense has much firepower. I mean, they're not facing Odunze and Penix. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot going on there. Barnes has been satisfactory. He's been fine. I mean, he just threw 3 touchdowns against USC, but that's not a very good defense. Only completed 14 passes. He threw 23 of them. So I just don't think they have enough firepower to really give Oregon troubles. I think what they're just going to try to do is keep out of Nix's hands. They're just going to ground and pound, see if they can establish dominance up the line and just eat the clock. If Barnes turns the ball over or if they decide to fumble the ball away, I think it's an easy Oregon win. But if they can take care of the ball and keep out of Nix's hands, then I think they have an outside shot at taking care of it. But what else? I got one more thing down here. Utah, when they've played stout defenses, Oregon State and UCLA, 2 solid defenses, they only have 1 touchdown in each of those games. So they haven't really been able to put up a bunch of points against good defenses. So
I like that one, Reese. Schaefer, defend the Utes.
Well, there's a couple of ways to defend this team. Number one, it's a Kyle Whittingham coach team, and it's Utah at home. So I don't care if the Chiefs go and play at Rice Eccles. They might find a way into some trouble down there if they really want to. But in all seriousness, on the offensive side of the ball, I think naming Bryson Barnes, I feel like he can officially say he is QB1 moving forward. They just were really in some struggles, man, with Johnson and him and his Cam Rising coming back. And it was just kind of this whole circus. I think they can finally name Barnes the guy and move forward with the rest of the year because there's still a lot to play for. But how is Barnes successful? How does he throw for 3 touchdowns like he does last week? Jaquindon Jackson is a major piece in this offense. That offensive line and moving the football is huge for Barnes. If they can run the football like they did last week, he had 120 yards on the ground. That's when Barnes gets comfortable. That's how you give this kid a chance at home against a really good Oregon defense. This is going to be the biggest test for that Utah defense. Reese named it. What do they got? 21 touchdowns through the air, 21 touchdowns through the ground. Like, my question for this Utah defense is, and it's a great one, what do they specifically try to shut down first? I think it's Bo Nix. I think it's the air attack. I think they try to shut them down. Utah ranks 21st in defensive pass efficiency. It's something they're really good at, and it's Bo Nix on the road at a top 25 environment. I think that's where you force them to beat you. Bucky Irvin, let him get his 20 yards. Let him do his 200 yards. Honestly, I can still see him getting 200 yards and Utah mucking this up and maybe getting a turnover or 2. And they win this football game 21-17 or something like that. So that's how I think it's going to happen. The safeties in the back end are really going to have to step up for Utah. It's the best part of their defense. But when they play it at that stadium, I can't go against them. I don't.
Different, man. It's different.
No, I think you speak for a lot of people, and I think that's where the line sits for that reason, right? Like if you're doing the math here, it's probably 3 or 4 points worth playing there, right? So it's probably a 10-point line on a neutral field, and I wouldn't think that's that crazy. No,
I think it'd be bigger. I mean, you saw what happened in
think it'd be more?
Corvallis. Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened in like Corvallis. I thought
don't know.
Oregon
I
could
could
do
see
worse
10
if
and a
this was
half
an
on a
Autzen.
neutral site. I think in Eugene it might be 13
Yep.
ish, which I think 2 scores, maybe 13 or 14. That number is irrelevant kind of in that situation. But I agree with both sides. I think you both have good points because you're dealing with Oregon, like I said, in a third really tough road game. You're getting Utah with a stout defense that knows how to play to their strengths and not beat themselves. Bo Nix hasn't beat himself this year, but Bo Nix on the road has been different, but not this year. Like this feels like a different Bo Nix. This feels like a different Oregon team. This feels like a different Utah team for good reasons and bad reasons. Like this isn't the high flying Utah offense we've seen, but it's still that stud defensive front, well coached, not going to beat themselves football club. Parks, let's go to you first. Who do you got in this game? We're going to make a graphic later in the week, and it's contentious on that graphic right now. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm not giving you my pick. I got to save it for later, but I like Oregon.
Nice.
I like Oregon in this matchup. I think Reese hit the nail on the head of kind of what my preference and perspective on it was I just haven't seen enough success from Utah's offense against a quality defense, a sustainable or serviceable defense, not a great defense, because Oregon's got a great defense. So you're asking a lot from a young freshman quarterback who's shown some good sparks the last couple of weeks, but I'll save my pick for later.
Perfect. I'll take Oregon here for the same reasons. I hate it. This is forever the spot in college football where you take the home dog. But I like the really good defense. I think Bo Nix is better. That's who I'm going to take. Reese, down to you.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick against them, but I got to go with Oregon. Like, I just don't think that offense has a whole lot. Rice Eccles is a very, very hard place to play. And if Utah's only going to cover if they make exactly. Utah's only going to cover if they make it ugly, and it's like 21-16 or some weird score like that. That's where they're going to cover. But like, give me Ducks.
Schaefer, finish it up, man.
Schaefer, run so we can walk. I mean, walk so we can run. Come on, give it to me, baby.
I'm pulling.
It paid off for Reese last week.
I'm pulling a Reese. I got to save my pick.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, circle back around.
Two veterans over here.
All right, moving down the line this game.